Hi Rockers, Joe here. Today I'm going to be making a meatloaf. Meatloaf is like that staple in the US. A lot of people have this as a kid growing up. Your mom made it with mashed potatoes and vegetables. Basically it's a ground meat, typically ground beef. Sometimes people add ground pork. People are making it with ground turkey or ground chicken these days. It's really wholesome. You use a lot of ketchup and a few other ingredients. There's a lot of different ways that people make this, but I'll be showing you the way I make it. It's a pretty simple recipe and most people do enjoy this. And afterwards you can make sandwiches with it and do other things as well. I hope you enjoy watching and following along. Thank you, Rockers. This recipe will serve 3 people. I'm just going to start by chopping my onion. I'm going to dice it. If you wanted to use a food processor to get it really fine, you could do that as well, and I do that sometimes. Just depends on if you want chunks of onions or you want it really mixed into the beef. In this case, I'm just using the chopped. The same thing with the green pepper and the garlic. Really simple, we just want to chop this. Now onto my garlic. What's great about meatloaf is you can kind of make it your own. If there's something you really want to put in it there, you can. People add cheese to it and many other things. Chop my garlic, green onions. I'm gonna crack 1 egg and I'll just whisk that right next to the vegetables. I'm gonna add my ground beef to this and we'll just set that aside. I'm going to make the sauce using about 3/4 cup of ketchup and Worcestershire sauce. Little Dijon mustard, that's kind of optional. A 1/2 tablespoon of sugar. You can use more if you like a sweeter meatloaf. 1/2 cup of breadcrumbs. And then I'm gonna do a little bit of the sauce in the meatloaf. So I'll just mix it together to start with the fork. Once it's pretty well mixed, we'll move on to our hands and we really just wanna mix this really well, make sure all the flavors are mixed in throughout. Adding just a little bit of salt, not too much. And now we're gonna place the meatloaf and form it inside of a baking dish, or I'm using a cast iron skillet which doubles as a baking dish. You could also just use a loaf pan that you bake bread in if you have one. So I'm going to take about half the sauce that's left over and we'll coat the meatloaf in this. And I should note my oven's been preheating at 200 degrees Celsius for about 20 minutes. So in the oven, at this point it's been cooking for about 25 minutes. I'm adding a little bit more sauce on top. And in the meantime, I'm going to saute some peppers and cabbage to serve on the side. I'm working towards being more carb conscious, so that's the reason I'm not adding mashed potatoes. But this meal does really go well with mashed potatoes or a roasted potato as well. Sweet potatoes go good as well. So once that's cooked, I'm going to pull out my meatloaf. It's been cooking for about 40 minutes now. And it's all done. Enjoy and thanks for watching, Rockers.